Rabbi Shmuley.
Mayor Huddle, our outstanding mayor, who clearly has the most incredible sunglasses of any elected leader in the United States, Chief O'Keefe, consummate gentleman, tireless public servant, who always looks incredibly regal and stately in his beautiful uniform, former Mayor Wiles, my dear friend, members of the City Council, and most importantly, our active duty servicemen and women and veterans, ladies and gentlemen. I have earned no right to address you here this morning. I lack the selflessness of the people before me who wear the uniform. I cannot match their preparedness to work in utter anonymity in places around the world, receiving no individual recognition, and sometimes receiving at best these token statements of how much the rest of us back home, taking our freedoms for granted, support the troops. But I have earned the right, as an American citizen, to at the very least pay tribute to real heroes, to those who still believe that honor and dignity are earned through service rather than selfishness, through courage rather than accumulation, through merit rather than money. Somewhere as we speak, right now, in the current age, there is a woman walking around the streets of Kabul or Kandahar who believes that she is the equal of a man in every way, who believes that she married a husband not to obey him or be obedient to him, but to be cherished and loved by him. Who believes that if she's insolent to her in-laws, she doesn't deserve to have her ears and nose cut off the way we saw on a Time magazine cover about 2 months ago. And her only hope for her rights being promoted, protected, and respected are complete strangers from the 50 states of America who will cross that ocean and fight to ensure that she's treated as a human being. Somewhere in the 1980s, there was an Islamic man or woman walking around the streets of Baghdad who believed that as a God-fearing Muslim, they were God's beloved child. And they did not deserve to live under the tyranny of a dictator who gassed their children in Halabja with poisoned mustard gas. And their only hope for one day voting and choosing their own way forward was a member of the United States military who's prepared to fight and die for a complete stranger. Somewhere in a camp in Majdanek, Birkenau, Dachau, Sobibor, Buchenwald, in 1943, there was a Jewish man or woman who believed that just because they were born a Jew did not mean they deserved to be gassed. That just because they were born a Jew did not mean they should be turned into a bar of soap or a lampshade. And the only hope for their liberation were the incredible, selfless, courageous veterans of the greatest generation. Somewhere in America in the 1850s, there was a black man, a black woman, who believed that the color of their skin mattered not in them being God's infinitely beloved child, that they were equal to every single one of God's other children. Not better, but equal. And they railed against the moral abomination and America's greatest practice evil of slavery. And the only hope for their liberation were the brave troops of the federal armies at Vicksburg, Gettysburg, Fredericksburg, who would one day liberate them. And somewhere in the American colonies in the 1760s and 1770s, there was a man or woman eking out a living on some farm who believed that they were equal to a noble, to a count, to a duke. And they weren't prepared to take this lie that some people are born with bluer blood than others, that some foreign tyrant across the Atlantic could govern their lives by virtue of his birth alone when he had earned no right, with no mandate of the people to control them. And his or her only hope that he or she could live in a democracy where we could choose our elected representatives were the brave forces of revolutionary America. My friends, the United States military is quite simply the greatest force for good in the world today. Period. This is no longer an army about defending America. And this isn't just about defending freedom and defending democracy. We are talking about the single greatest moral good in the entire world today. The brave men and women of the United States military. Which is why they are the only thing in this country that today completely unites us. We're divided between conservatives and liberals, Democrats and Republicans. It's terrible to see a divided nation, because we are all equally American, and we are all brothers and sisters. But the one thing that we agree on, indisputably, is that our troops are our absolute finest, that they represent the best in us, that in an increasingly materialistic nation, where we live for a plasma TV screen and a brand new car, that there are some men and women who are prepared to take crappy salaries and sometimes a lack of appreciation, but to get up and go and fight to ensure that a man or a woman is treated with courtesy, dignity, and respect. I teach my kids that every time that they go to that 7-Eleven or any store here in Englewood, if they see a man or woman who wears the uniform, they have a duty and an obligation to walk over and simply say thank you, to pay honor and respect to those who truly, through their dedication and service, humble us. And we may not choose to wear the uniform ourselves. Not all are born to be the highest heroes. And there are other forms of heroism. We need pastors, we need rabbis, we need politicians, we need all the people who run these stores in front of me. But we dare never forget that if there aren't people who are prepared to sometimes pick up a rifle or pick up a baton and tell forces of wickedness and evil who would trample on innocent victims that, I'm sorry, to get to them, you gotta pass by me. If we forget that these people are heroes, then we will have lost the single greatest lesson of the American democracy, which is that all are created equally in the image of God and all are deserving of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. May God bless the armed forces of the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I would be nothing without you. God bless you.
Thank you, Rabbi Shmuley. That was very, very inspiring to all of us. Thank you so much for being with us today. I just want to, a few more acknowledgments. I keep thinking of them. I want to